Isn't that interesting? The token that powers one of the largest ecosystems in all of crypto, BNB for the Binance Smart Chain, doesn't get discussed that much. Everybody talks about Solana and about Memecoin trading, but maybe there is some kind of hidden potential in the asset where there's not that much attention yet. Because this is the game of investing, right? It's always about buying the asset that's not in favor, buying the thing nobody has any attention on, and then selling it once it goes up, once everybody talks about it. Now here's an overview of the largest cryptocurrencies. And of course, Bitcoin is at number 1, Solana is at number 5, but that's directly followed by BNB, the gas token of the Binance Smart Chain. In the last 24 hours, we saw $3.4 billion of trading volume on BNB, and that's roughly double of what's traded on the Base chain. Everybody talks about Base, everybody talks about virtual protocol, nobody ever talks about the Binance Smart Chain. For comparison, Solana has a trading volume in the last 24 hours of 8.6 billion. Within decentralized finance, the Binance Smart Chain is the 5th largest chain. It's got 5 billion of total value locked compared to 10 billion for Solana. It's got more than 4 times the number of decentralized applications, and it's got roughly 1/4 of the active addresses. Yes, there was a lot of hype around Solana. That's why the total value locked was able to hit a new all-time high, even post that of DeFi summer in 2021. And that is something very unique within crypto. The Binance Smart Chain was not able to achieve that. Yes, it recovered somewhat, but it still has ways to go to get back to the 21 billion where it once was. Now within crypto, we always see how attention is moving from one topic to the next, right? Yesterday it was Solana, maybe tomorrow it will be BNB. The question is always, where is currently the capital moving and what's currently comparatively cheap? Now a very useful indicator, a very useful measure is the dominance chart. So how much of the entire cryptocurrency's market cap is bound in a single asset? And for BNB, that's this chart here. This is the BNB dominance. It's currently at roughly 2.5%. In its top, it was a bit above 6%. And there seems to be somewhat of a range. And within that range, we might not be that high. Yes, we aren't yet at the absolute bottom, but the potential for loss, if we set a stop loss, is maybe 14%. The potential gain from here is 142%. Here's a very similar chart. This is BNB relative to Bitcoin. Growth for BNB tends to happen in very quick sprints. And again, medium term, we tend to be rather on the lower end. We want to buy when nobody is interested, and we want to sell when everybody is hyped about the asset. Now, why BNB and why the Binance Smart Chain and why not any other blockchain that's currently falling behind? I believe Binance is likely going to continue to support the chain. And I just recently made a poll in the free Telegram. Feel free to check out the link down below. What's your favorite centralized crypto exchange? And number 1 is still by far Binance. If Binance wants to push BNB, it can definitely do so. Now, this is clearly a contrarian bet. This is not betting on a platform that has already positive momentum. This is betting against the trend. However, we can clearly say that the Binance Smart Chain will stay around. It's still actively used. Here's the number of daily transactions. It's not growing, but it's steady at the same level for the last 3 years. It is not shrinking. Here's the gas used per day, also at a constant level. Here's the number of active addresses on chain, which hovers around 1 million and 1.5 million. Here's the number of pending transactions over time, so there's no real technical issues with any bottlenecks or things of that nature. And here's the network utilization chart. Again, none of those charts look extremely exciting, but they all show that we have stabilized to a degree, that we are now in an equilibrium. The importance of the Binance Smart Chain does get underestimated. It's this line here at the top in orange. So this compares the decentralized exchange trading volume. This is Ethereum for comparison. Here is Polygon Matic. Here is Arbitrum. And let's compare the Binance Smart Chain with Base. base, that's this line over here. Now there is of course an outlier, and that is Solana, but I'm not so sure if betting on Solana is the right move now, because the number of unique users went absolutely parabolic with the launch of Trump's Memecoin, so it peaked at 37 million in a week, but now it comes crashing back down again, and the Binance Smart Chain is at 7.5 million. It's pretty much leading all of those other chains that are not Solana, and it does not have all the negative momentum that Solana currently has. This here is the SOL chart relative to the BNB chart, and I've got the impression that Solana is comparatively rather high, and that it's likely going to underperform BNB in the next weeks. The big question really is, when all of this is over, when people start buying again, what are they going to buy? Are people going to buy yet again Solana, which has already risen quite a bit, or are people looking for the next potential up? The question is really, what happens after this crash, right? Are people going to buy back into Solana and into Bitcoin, or are people looking for the next best thing that still has some upside potential, but security in numbers, right? That's not a super degenerate altcoin. I believe the current situation of BNB couldn't be much better. It's very, very cheap. It's got all the support by Binance, and Binance will not let this token fall into oblivion. 17% of all of the reserves of Binance is on the Binance Smart Chain. 12% of the holdings are in the BNB token alone. 26 billion worth of holdings. Now, in the end, it doesn't really matter what kind of altcoins we chose, right? Pretty much everything went down. So it seems like it's more important to time the macro than the micro, right? The individual asset selection isn't that important. It's more important to exit when prices are high and to buy when everything is depressed. But then the question is, how much longer could we fall? What we see over here is the Bitcoin dominance. So how much of all of crypto is in Bitcoin? And that tends to oscillate somewhere between 40% and 70%. When it moves from 70% down to 40%, that means that Bitcoin becomes less important, and that means that the altcoins are massively outperforming. However, when Bitcoin's dominance is going up, that means that Bitcoin holds up relatively well. It can perform better than the alts, and it might make sense to rather be allocated towards BTC than towards the altcoins. Now, how much higher could this go? Again, this moves between 40 and 70%, and currently we are at 62%. So another 8 percentage points, potentially a bit more than that. I also like this measure over here. This shows how much are the people short-term bearish on crypto. How much are they risk off? This graph shows the stablecoin dominance. So not the Bitcoin dominance, but the stablecoin dominance. How much of all of crypto is in stablecoins? When this is very high, then the market is spooked. Then nobody is in anything risky. And when this is very low, that's the exact opposite. The market is very, very excited and wants to buy all kinds of meme coins left and right. And there is a very strong connection between the prices, right? An inverse relation. When the stablecoin dominance was at its peak, that was when Bitcoin bottomed out at 16K. When the stablecoin dominance was at its bottom, that is when Bitcoin didn't rally that much anymore. And once we saw a similar bottom in the stablecoin dominance again, Bitcoin's price also tended to not rally that much. Now, are we going to go sideways for a bit longer to then go up again, or are we going back into the 80s, 70s and 60s and revisit those stablecoin dominances of 18%? Nobody knows. But this does give us an idea that this is potentially just the beginning of the market cooling off. The market historically had been way more risk off than it is today. Yes, I know that's hard to believe when a lot of altcoins are down more than 50%, but there have been times when people went even more into the stablecoins. And that, of course, would mean more pain ahead. Now, here's what I believe is ultra important during times like this. When it's not really clear where the market is going, we need to have a plan what to do in case things turn around. The issue I see with most beginners in crypto is that there's only a plan for bull markets, right? When there's a bull market, we follow the influencers, we try to track those influencers, we try to buy small altcoins, and we hope for those altcoins to make multiple X returns. Now, when the market turns around, when it turns bearish, then the question is, what should we do? And if there is is no plan, then people simply just keep on holding those altcoins and riding them all the way down to zero. So it's very important to have a plan what to do in case the market doesn't expand further from here. To be completely objective, right? Because if there's no strategy what to do in a bear market, then the issue is that there won't be anything, right? Then you will simply just freeze up and do nothing. There are opportunities in bear markets. I actually think that it's easier to make money in bear markets than it is to make money in bull markets. For example, have a look at this. This is Balancer relative to Ethereum. This goes down pretty much all the time. And I started shorting this over here at the beginning of 2023. Now, this is a relative valuation chart, right? This is not Balancer in US dollars. This is Balancer relative to Ethereum. And so the volatility is relatively low. BAL underperformed Ethereum by more than 84%, and Ethereum didn't do that well either. And the reason why some of those altcoins go down that consistently is because of supply expansion, right? More and more tokens hit the market. Some tokens get allocated to early investors or to the team. They then get an unlock, they get a vesting unlock, and they can then sell towards the market. And this additional supply over time depresses the price. This is why we see those bad relative valuation charts, but we can take advantage of that by betting on falling prices on relative valuations. Have a look at this, right? This is Arbitrum relative to Ethereum. Also pretty much going down all the time for the exact same reason. And so if you have never shorted an altcoin before, if you never made money with an altcoin going down, or if you never made money with relative valuation short, so you just bet, say, on BAL or on Bitcoin going down in US dollars, but you never really played this relative valuation game where the volatility is much smaller, then probably you're missing out on a lot of potential alpha. Most altcoins underperform Bitcoin most of the time. So we can pretty much diversify with short positions. With longs, that is not so easy, right? When we buy an altcoin, there's maybe one or two altcoins that go through the moon and others just go along and they're not outperforming that much. So we have to pick the few winners. But with picking losers, it's not that hard because, again, most altcoins underperform Bitcoin most of the time. And so I made a lot of tutorial videos on this concept. First of all, how to think about this in the portfolio, but also how to execute on those individual trades and how to find tokens that underperform Bitcoin and Ethereum the most consistently. So there's this video over here, how to win in bear markets by shorting altcoins. There's this one, gaining from relative valuation, so not in US dollar prices, but in relative underperformance to Bitcoin and ETH. There's here, shorting optimism relative to BTC. That video was published on the 5th of May 2023. So over here, since then, the price went down by 63%. And yeah, there are also more conceptual videos where I'm making nice drawings, how to profit from falling prices, how to deposit collateral, how to borrow against this, etc. Then here's another video, my steps for opening a link/BTC short. Chainlink also underperformed Bitcoin massively since then. And so if you don't want to get wrecked like the vast majority of market participants during a potential bear market, I'm not saying that the bear market has already started, but in case you don't want to get wrecked once it does start, there will be a time, then feel free to check out those videos here, right? They're all part of Premium. Premium has more than 100 tutorial videos. It's not just about shorting altcoins, it's also about managing risk and how to be properly set up across asset classes. So feel free to check it out. It's currently $165 US per month. There's also a 1-week money back guarantee. So in case you don't like Premium, in case you don't learn anything, then feel free to message me within the first 7 days and I'll refund you 100%. I know this price is not very low, but it might be low comparable to the potential losses you might make if you don't have a strategy for bear markets. And so if it's your first time here, feel free to subscribe. I publish videos regularly. A like would be very much appreciated as well. It helps the channel grow. See you in the next video or see you in Premium. Cheers.